All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most powerful and truly haunting novels ever written, Toni Morrison's Beloved. This is a story that grabs you from the very first sentence and it does not let go. So let's jump right in. So, right away, the novel just throws us straight into the middle of everything. We don't even start with a person, we start with a place, number 124 Bluestone Road. But here's the thing, this isn't just a house. That first line is so chilling, right? It tells you this place is alive, and it's filled with what she calls a baby's venom. Inside this spiteful house, we meet Sethe, a woman who managed to escape the absolute horrors of slavery, and her daughter, Denver. And they're living completely alone, totally isolated. You see, they're trapped not just by their memories, but by a very real ghost. The ghost of the baby Sethe buried 18 years earlier. And let me tell you, this is not some subtle, quiet haunting. No way. This is an active, violent presence that basically runs their lives. Okay, so you have to wonder, what kind of presence, what kind of ghost is so powerful that it can tear a family apart and keep a house completely isolated for almost 20 years? Well, let's break down exactly what this haunting looks like. Yeah, this is not your typical quiet spirit. We're talking about a full-on poltergeist here. Imagine this. Mirrors are shattering. You find tiny, angry little handprints in the cake. Kettles of food just get thrown right off the stove. It's so intense, so malicious, that years before our story starts, it actually drove Sethe's two sons, Howard and Boogler, to just run away, leaving Sethe and Denver to deal with it all by themselves. But just when it seems like this haunted standoff is just going to go on forever, the past, well, it literally walks right up to the front door. A man from a lifetime ago, someone Sethe hasn't laid eyes on in 18 years, shows up and completely shatters the tormented kind of peace they've been living in. His name is Paul D., and he was enslaved with Sethe back at a plantation with the painfully ironic name of Sweet Home, the place where all her worst nightmares come from. So you can imagine, his arrival is a total shock. He's like a ghost from a life she thought was long gone. But at first he actually feels like a good thing, like a breath of fresh air. He's a connection to the world outside the suffocating walls of 124. And Paul D., he doesn't just, feel the ghost. He fights it. We're talking a violent physical showdown. The furniture is shaking. There's this pulsing red light, and he just screams at it, literally chases the spirit right out of the house. And then, suddenly, silence. For the first time in years, 124 is quiet. But that quiet is almost worse, because now there's nothing distracting Sethe from all the memories she has been fighting so hard to keep buried. Okay, so to really get what's going on with Sethe, you have to understand this concept she has. She calls it rememory. It's a huge idea in the book. For her, a memory isn't just something in your head. No, it's a real physical thing that stays in the place where it happened. It just lingers there. And you could walk right back into it. This is why the haunting of 124 feels so real to her. It's why she believes you can never, ever truly escape your past, because it's literally still out there, waiting for you. So, just as one ghost is chased out, another figure appears. But this one isn't a spirit. This is a young woman made of flesh and blood, who seems to be the past, literally come to life. Get this. A young woman literally walks out of the river. She's fully dressed, but she's completely dry. And she says her name is Beloved. Now, that's the one and only word Sethe could afford to have carved on her baby girl's tombstone. And this woman, she's the exact age that baby would have been. And she knows things nobody could possibly know, like a special song Sethe only ever sang to her own children. It's like the ghost wasn't gone at all. It just became a person. Beloved's arrival just throws the whole house into chaos, and she affects everyone in a totally different way. For Sethe, she's immediately consumed by this overwhelming, guilt-fueled need to just take care of her, to pour everything into her to make up for the past. Denver, who's been lonely her whole life, is just thrilled. She finally has a sister, a friend, but Paul D., he's not buying it. He is deeply suspicious. He can just feel that something is not right, something is unnatural about this girl, even while he's also weirdly drawn to her. And all of this, it brings us right to the dark heart of the novel. The central mystery. What on earth happened 18 years ago that was so terrible it created this ghost? What is the unspeakable thing that Sethe did? Well, it's Paul D who finally finds out the truth. He comes across an old, faded newspaper clipping, and what he reads, it's so horrifying, it just completely shatters everything he thought he knew about Sethe, this woman he's starting to fall for. He has no choice, really. He has to confront her, and in doing so, he forces this terrible secret out into the open. So let's go back. After this absolutely brutal escape from Sweet Home, while pregnant, mind you, Sethe finally makes it to freedom in Cincinnati. And for 28 days, she gets a taste of what life could be. Just 28 days. For the first and only time she's actually free. She's with her kids, she's part of this warm, loving community led by her mother-in-law, Baby Suggs. It's almost perfect. But then, on the 28th day, her past comes for her. School teacher, the unbelievably cruel master from Sweet Home, shows up to drag her and her children right back to hell. The moment Sethe sees that man's hat coming up the road, she snaps. She panics, she grabs her children, and she runs. But here's the thing. She doesn't run away. She runs into the woodshed. And in her mind, this isn't madness. This is a choice. It's a desperate, horrifying choice to protect her children, to save them from the dehumanizing hell of slavery that she only just escaped herself. Her reason for it is just bone-chilling. When schoolteacher gets to the woodshed and throws open the door, he walks into an absolute bloodbath. Sethe has tried to kill all of her children. And she succeeded in killing her oldest daughter, the toddler. But in her mind, in her justification, she wasn't murdering them. She says, I took and put my babies where they'd be safe. It's this profound, twisted, and unbelievably tragic act of a mother's love. Paul D. he can't process this. He can't understand it. He is completely and utterly horrified. He looks at Sethe and tells her love is too thick. It's too much. It's too possessive. It's destructive. And with that, he leaves her. And his leaving just pushes her deeper and deeper into her isolation, leaving her all alone with Denver and the ghost who is now devouring her life, Beloved. So now Paul D is gone, and that means there is absolutely no one left to push back against Beloved's influence. Her power over Sethe just grows and grows, and honestly, it's threatening to completely destroy her. At this point, the relationship becomes completely parasitic. Think of Beloved as this vengeful ghost in human form, literally feeding on Sethe's guilt, her stories, her very life force. Sethe gives everything she has to this ghost, her food, her time, her memories. And as she does, she physically shrinks, she wastes away. And at the same time, Beloved gets bigger, she gets fatter, she even starts to look pregnant, just swelling up with all the life she's draining from Sethe. And it's Denver, the quiet, isolated daughter, who finally realizes what's happening. She sees that her mother is literally going to die. So to save her, Denver has to do the one thing she is terrified of. She has to leave the yard of 124 and go out into the world. And she goes straight to the women of the community, the very same people who have ignored and shunned her family for 18 years, and she asks them for help. And what happens next is just incredible. It's this powerful act of community healing. 30 women from the neighborhood march right up to 124. They don't bring weapons, they bring their voices. They start to sing and pray, creating this powerful wall of sound to drive out the evil. But right at that moment, a white man happens to be walking up to the house. He's actually there to offer Denver a job. Sethe sees him, and in a terrifying flash of memory, she thinks it's schoolteacher coming back for her again. She grabs an ice pick and rushes out to attack him, but the women stop her. And in all that chaos, Beloved is gone. She just vanishes. So in the aftermath of all that, with Beloved gone for good this time, a kind of fragile peace finally settles over 124. And with it, maybe, just maybe, the possibility of a future. And then Paul D comes back. He finds Sethe just completely broken in her bed. But he offers her the one thing she truly needs, which is healing. He tells her, "You your best thing, Sethe. You are." He's reminding her that she belongs to herself, not to her memories, not to her past, not to any master. He offers to stay, to put his story next to hers, and to try and build a life, a future, together. In the end, the whole community makes a choice to forget Beloved, to actively disremember her. And the novel itself ends with this haunting, paradoxical line: this is not a story to pass on. So that leaves us with this huge, important question to think about. Why is it that some stories, especially the most painful ones about our collective history and trauma, are the very stories that absolutely must be told, must be remembered, and must be passed on?